Hello.
Hello, Erika.
I mean,
how are you?
I'm good. It's so hot right now. I feel like I always say the same, but it's summer in Tenerife, so I'm gonna say the same every time. I don't care.
It's so funny. It's like you're not used to it, or you're just happy. You appreciate the heat. You know, why not?
Uh, it's just like I think that some things you never get used to it. You are always surprised when they come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know summer is coming, but you have been through winter, and you're like, what is this? What is it that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
And lately there's a heat wave, so it's a little bit worse than usual.
What are the temperatures like at the moment?
30 somethings.
Okay. All right. There's definitely a heat wave.
You know, am I right? Listen, I'm hydrating, so I'm okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The same. It's so funny because I absolutely love the hot weather, but I think we all do. But then when it gets too hot, everyone's like, "Oh, it's so hot. I can't cope. Oh my gosh, what is this?" It's so funny.
It is true, and we're so surprised. Like,
and then it disappears, and they're like, "Why is it gone? Why is it cold? Why?"
I don't.
Yeah.
But I read a complaint about the hot weather than not having hot weather. I'm aware of that. I can't cope with the cold.
Yeah.
I'm way worse when it's cold. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm the same. I definitely prefer the heat to the cold. But maybe we say that because we haven't lived in a country where it's like 45 degrees every day. I have a friend at the moment who's living in Dubai, and it's their summer now, and she just keeps saying, you can't even go outside, you can't cope. And I do recall, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago here in Portugal, it was like 43 degrees. You would walk outside and you couldn't cope. So
no,
if it was that extreme, we'd probably be like, please give us a bit of fresh air.
No, that's not cool at all. That's not cool at all. No. It's too much. I had an experience in Sevilla, and it was actually in July 2 years ago, maybe. Oh my God, no, and no.
Not too hot, just hot enough, and we are happy.
Exactly.
But thank you
so
so much
to be here.
Me too, and thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to have you here. Obviously, this is the second out of the third that we have this month with you. So super excited for this one. The topic that we are focusing on today is how to overcome anything. I think this is quite a special one that I personally really like. I know you're really keen of it as well. The rest of Women in Flicks really like this topic. So one that I've really been looking forward to speaking about today. I know you did introduce yourself, Erika, in the last live that you did with Anna, but maybe if you just want to give another introduction as to who you are and what you do, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, of course. So I am Erika. I am a women coach. I am a coach for women. I mainly work with the healing part of coaching because that's what I'm drawn to doing. And this is my passion, like helping women, helping people heal. And trauma is a very important topic for me because I have been through trauma as well, and I know how is it to live in silence and have this, this backpack that you are carrying around. So I am passionate about a lot of things, but for me, trauma, healing, these are the main things in my life. So that's where I focus my coaching on. And I'm also a blogger, and I'm a yoga teacher.
Everything.
I'm a Gemini, you know. Geminis, we are famous for being able to do anything and everything and transform. but now I feel like I'm more focused. I know that it looks a lot, but it's just, I'm working on helping people and healing people.
I love that.
Like yoga and meditation is just a different way of doing things, and coaching is just a different way of doing the same thing, because, you know, people need different things to help them with their lives. Like what worked for me, it's not going to 100% work for everybody else.
Yeah.
So I like that I have this different approaches to healing, and it gives me opportunity to learn a lot as well, and to help people in different ways. So yeah, this is a little bit about me. I'm sure that I could have said more things, but now it's what's coming. So I'm working on living in the moment.
Erika, so thank you so much. But do you know what idea you've given me? I think we could do a session on yoga, right? We're doing the coaching side where we're talking about a few different areas here, but part of what you also deliver is coaching, because the yoga, because you do so many different things. So I think something that we could actually put forward here is to have a yoga session, a virtual yoga session.
I think that's amazing. That's an amazing idea. Yeah. Okay. I'm loving
healing,
this.
Right. So I think it is one of the more modern ways of healing. You've got the coaching, you've got the yoga. Meditation is something that people talk a lot about as well now. So I think this is definitely something that I would love to be a part of. So let's get something set up.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea, and I'm always pleased when somebody tells me to do something related to, like, to coaching, to yoga. Of course, if I feel the vibe, right? Like yesterday I was telling my boyfriend, you know, I spoke to someone but I didn't feel the vibe, so I was like,
The energies have to flow.
My job is, yes, it has to align, and that's what I feel with the three of you at Women Fleeks. Like the energy really flows, and I think that we have like a similar message, and what we want to do is just like, we want to help women. We want to empower them. We are all different, doing it a different way, obviously, but that for me, and since it's so honest from your end, it's like I feel like, okay, I want to be with them. I want to do something.
Thank you, Erika.
So
I look
that's
forward
a pleasure.
to it. We're going to schedule it.
Yes, we will.
But let's get to it then. So obviously the focus for our life today is how to overcome anything. You are a specialist in healing coaching. So why don't we start with what we define how to overcome anything as? You know, how do you define that topic, Erika? What does that mean to you?
I mean, to overcome anything is that it does not matter what life throws at you, you can sort it out.
Yeah.
One of the wonders of coaching is this. Or healing, it's not like nothing will happen from now on, it's all going to be okay. No, life will happen. But the thing is that when you do coaching, when you heal yourself, when you do personal growth, then you have the tools to overcome anything that comes, you know, that comes your way. And life will happen, it will always happen. And the important thing is that you have tools to face it. I know it's a little bit ambitious to say how to overcome anything, but really there is a pattern in solving certain situations that I saw, as you know, in my personal experience, and also coaching women who are looking for healing and dealing with their lives. Because I don't only deal with the healing part, like I'm a coach, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do next? Okay, I'm not going to stay there and, you know, and we feel sorry for each other. No. Then we need to go to that part to sort things out. So yeah, that's it. How to overcome anything, how prepared are you to overcome anything in your life? Andrea, hello. I see people coming in. It's my friend Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Welcome here, Andrea. Nice to see you here. So yeah, that's what I mean by that. And there is a pattern, and there is a certain way that can help you and guide you to overcome anything in your life.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you there. And I personally like to think of it as not just how to overcome anything, but I literally tell myself how to overcome everything.
I love it. Positive language.
Exactly. I was just about to say that as well. But it talks very much to how you just mentioned there's a structure to how to overcome anything. And I think it also starts with a positive mental mindset. You know, no matter what happens or what you come across in life, believe that you will be able to overcome any obstacle that is thrown your way. And you really have to believe it, no matter how difficult the adversity is, because as we both know, everything starts within the mind. So the mindset is obviously one of the first things that you have to set in place, and you have to put structure in place for, to be able to overcome it. Because if you don't do that, it's already like announcing defeat before you've even started. So 100%.
Yeah. Now, and you're right, mindset is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Erika, I know you personally do have a structure, and you know, it's something that we had discussed, and you've got specific areas that you personally believe form part of how to overcome anything. So do you want to enlighten us on your structure and your way of thinking of how
to Absolutely. I mean, this is just a guidance for you to overcome. If you have a problem and you follow these steps, I'm not going to tell you everything that you need to do, but at least I think it's a good way of you having hope on solving your problem, because you're going to be like, okay, let me do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get to the fifth steps, and I'm going to sort this thing out. So the structure basically is for you to start with acceptance. I'm going to explain it later. And then we have take responsibility for your part in it. Then we have the third step, which is to actually just let go of the situation. And then we have the fourth step, which is create a vision. And the fifth step is obviously act on it. Right?
And it's
so we're not going to be like,
what's next? What are you going to do next?
Exactly. So there is a structure to this, and I use it a lot in my coaching, which is, first of all, you have to accept whatever is going on. You have to accept. I'm not telling you like, oh, it's correct, it's fair. We're not judging fairness. We are just saying and accepting that, listen, this is the situation you're in. This is what happened. A lot of suffering, a lot of human suffering, and I'm in love with this book, The Power of Now, and I read it over and over. I'm rereading it again, so I'm very inspired now. But one thing that Eckhart Tolle says is the part of the suffering comes from us not accepting what is. Because you are denying reality. And every time you're denying reality, I mean, what are you going to solve? What are you going to overcome if you don't even acknowledge it? So the first step is just, it does not matter how tough it is. You have to accept the situation. We cannot live in denial. It's not helpful. It's not healthy. It's just, it's not going to work. So the first step is for you to just accept the situation you're in, just own it. Okay, that's it. That's it. You cannot fight reality.
I absolutely agree with you there.
What do you
One
think?
of the questions that I generally pose to my clients in these situations is, I always ask, is this something that you have control over? You know, is it something that you can change? So I always like to ask those questions first, and then I will say, if you can, great, what do you need to do to change it? Okay,
Absolutely.
But first of all, accept that it is what it is, then focus on changing it. If you can't change it, if you have no control over it, just accept it, like you said. Stop putting energy into it. It's not going to change it. The result is not going to change. You're still going to be in the same situation. You can now only control what happens next. So just accept it, like you said. You know, it is what it is. I have a saying that I typically use, crap will happen, and we don't have control over it, but that is life. That is reality, right? Look at COVID, for example. No one expected that it would happen, but it happened. And so many of us have dwelled on it. I know I still do till today. I'll find a way to dwell on it because it's just going on for so long.
I know.
And it's just so annoying. But we have to accept that it is what it is, and it's nothing that we have no control over whatsoever. So what can we do to change what happens next and how we respond and react to it, right? That's it.
Exactly, because I think like there is a limit for you to complain about things. There is, like, literally, there is a limit. For me, it's about 1 or 2 days and I'm done. But you cannot stay, you know, for a month complaining that you lost your job. Eventually, you're going to have to figure out what is it that you're going to do about it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be, okay, I lost my job. Okay, you're complaining so much because you're trying to change reality. And our subconscious mind just works in very weird ways. Yeah, so sometimes you're like, oh, oh, hello, Anna. So, oh, let me fight this to see if it goes away. It will not go away unless you do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh my God.
I'm so with you there.
I'm with you on
I typically will warn people, look, I'm really annoyed about this. I'm going to allow myself to be annoyed. That's me warning. I'm going to allow myself to be annoyed about this, but I am going to stop talking about it tomorrow. Or like you said, 2 days, right? But I need to accept this right now and I need to be annoyed about it and then I will move on. And that's it. But you're also putting it out into the universe that you are accepting it, but you're also going to acknowledge your emotions. And this is actually one of the areas that I think form part of how to overcome anything. It's acknowledging how you feel and acknowledging your emotions, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's all
yes,
part of that
absolutely.
and you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you feel like, okay, you're being true to yourself. This isn't what you would like the situation to be. It is. Now you've done it. What's the next step? Right?
Yeah.
Can't say that
yes.
like you said.
That's it. That's it. And accepting it will lead you to cry, you know, be mad, just let it all out, you know, but at least everybody knows in the house, right?
Absolutely.
That's you and your subconscious and yourself, right? So I think that now that we're all set, the next step is just to be, okay, so let's take responsibility for our doings in this. So I know there are different sorts of situations. Not everybody will be your fault or my fault, but somehow we had a little bit of responsibility in the situation. And I think that we are kind of setting the pace for telling people that honesty is important.
Yes.
Right? Accepting the situation is part of being honest. But part of being honest is also thinking about, okay, what have I done to cause this situation? What have I not done to cause this situation? Have I done something at all?
Yeah.
And the most important thing is, what did I do after the situation that I shouldn't be doing, that I want to change, that everything, just take responsibility for it.
Yep.
I'm not saying, you know, punish yourself or whatever. No, just take responsibility. You can say, you know what? I was very mad. I was angry. I didn't know what to do. I did this, this, and that. Own it. Own it. Be honest with yourself. That's the first step for you to start trusting yourself to do everything and to take action for the things that you want to do. But it is very important. And I think that to take responsibility, it's a powerful thing. People sometimes think that it's just it makes people feel like it's their fault, everything is their fault, so I'm responsible for everything now. I can hear some people saying this, you know, in their head. So now I'm responsible, so this guy did this. No, I'm telling you, you have the power to change.
Yes.
You have the power to acknowledge what is it that you have done wrong, if you have done wrong, and now you have the power to change. So I do believe in, you know, taking your power back by taking responsibility, because you take back your truth. You are like, okay, let me be honest. What have I done? Yeah. Okay, maybe you didn't want to do any harm, but you've done something. Just acknowledge it so you can move on. You're not going to overcome anything by denying your part on it, by denying that the situation is happening and denying your feelings. It's not going to take you anywhere. You must accept the things and also take responsibility for your part in it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of what you talk about, Erika, when you talk about taking responsibility, actually also comes of the act of giving yourself the time to sit back and evaluate. And that's a lot of what you've just spoken about there.
Yeah.
Is evaluate what could have gone differently, right? And you've touched on such a strong part there. It's not about allowing yourself to feel like it is all your fault. But if it is your fault, it's okay, you know? We're human beings and we all make mistakes. But the first act does come with just actually analysing the whole situation, evaluating it, and then starting to look at, and I keep referring back to what you said, what comes next, but what could you have done differently? And if this situation were to arise again, what could you do differently? Maybe you can write down what steps you will take differently when the situation arises again. You can also write down a plan for how you're going to deal with it. Or a lot of the times, I think, you know, we really work ourselves up in our minds, and we make an issue into such a big problem when it really isn't. And that is so, so detrimental for our health. It can bring about so many health issues that could be avoided if we just dealt with it then and there. I know personally from experience, I used to be that kind of individual that would think about things for so long before acting upon them, especially if I needed to have a discussion with someone about something, or I didn't agree with something wrong that happened, whatever it was. And nowadays I find it's just so much easier now that I've gotten into the habit of just talking about it, because that's what works for me. But it's not what works for every single one of my clients. So I always have to ask my clients, you know, what do you think you need to do to take responsibility for what has happened? What is going to help you feel better? And what is going to help the greater good, you know? So I completely agree with you there. So obviously acceptance being the first step, and then taking responsibility being the second step. But what that means to different individuals is completely different. And that's what people have to understand. There's no right or wrong way to go about it.
No. Exactly. And some people have some misconceptions about coaching, thinking that we're going to tell you what to do. We're just going to guide you on whatever it is that suits you, and whatever it is that takes you to that vision that you have for yourself and for your life. So yeah, we can tell you, okay, it's time to take responsibility. Let's do this. But I want to know, what do you think about it? What feelings arise? And yeah, let's move on to the next steps. I love that you said that sometimes we think about things so much and it's not even that big of a deal.
No.
Like most of the times, tragic things happen. Of course, I'm here, I know that, but it's like sometimes we just turn things into a bigger problem than it actually is. And I just want to tell this one thing: when you look at the problem in the eye, it shrinks. Don't ask me how or why it happens. When you look at the problem in the eye, you're like, Sometimes I do it with my mind. I'm like thinking, overthinking, because I'm a bit of an overthinker as you. And sometimes I'm like thinking, and like I start observing. I'm like, what? And then it goes away. I'm like, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's so funny. Absolutely hilarious. The human mind is something amazing. But there you are. If you don't realize that these are the steps, or these are the processes, the structure that you should take, it's so dangerous, because you can allow your mind to delve into areas that won't help you. So just going back to, again, the point that you mentioned, that's why having a structure can just help you right from the beginning. Not to say that like you're not going to be able to overcome things, but it's just going to be a much easier, less painful and quicker way of overcoming anything and everything in a healthy way, right?
And it's so like, I'm thinking, like, it took me like 5 years, to get this. Okay, when something comes, now I do it automatically because I've done the work, right? Now I'm like, okay, Erika, this is what happens. Okay, what have I done? Okay, what is the next step?
Do you know what's so funny you mentioned this? Because the book that I'm reading at the moment is called The Power of Habits. And
The Power of Habits. I'm going to take notes of it.
And I think there are a few similar books, but what it talks about is knowing the cue for the habit, and then understanding what that reward is. So it took you 5 years, right? But now you have a process and you understand there's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, when you complete number 1, the reward is going to be moving on to number 2. When you complete 2, the reward is going to be moving on to number 3. And then when you complete all of those steps, there's going to be a reward for you at the end. Whatever that reward is personal to each individual. But that is what the human mind will look forward to, because you're instilling habits in yourself. So you're automatically motivated to enforce those 5 steps. And that's how the human mind works. It's fantastic. So it's great that you've now created this structure that didn't exist before.
I had to create a whole structure for my life, but I'm glad that now I can tell you this, you know, and save some people from suffering. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So let's move on to number 3.
Okay, number 3. Number 3 is to let go. Okay, I really want to make it clear that this is not for you to suffer and to punish yourself, and you know, and to carry the bag by yourself. It is just let go of the situation. Okay, so this is what happened. Maybe you can change it, maybe you cannot. This is where your responsibility is, but then just let go of everything. You cannot keep holding on to these things, you know, and carry the rocks and expect to have your free arms to receive the next thing, right? So you have to let go of things. Letting go, it's freaking hard. I know. Letting go, it's hard. We don't like it. We like to be right. We like to be, you know, always on the good side of things, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And it is hard to let go of things. Like, ego is strong. So when I tell you about letting go, I know that you're not going to be like, okay, let me just let go of this. It's it's harder than that. Bye, I'm letting you go. But there are certain things that you can do to let go. So I ask you to think about certain things. I ask you to think about, what is it? Ask yourself, what is it that I need to do to let go of this situation? And the answer will come up. Maybe you need to have a conversation with somebody. Maybe you need to just accept the fact that you're not going to have the conversation ever. Maybe you need to forgive other people. Maybe you need to forgive yourself. I really believe that forgiveness is not a mandatory step. For me, it was important. For me, it was important. But I've worked with people that for them, that was like in a very long distance, and it was okay for them, and they accepted the situation, and they were like, okay, like forgiveness is not for me. And I commend those people, because it's not for me. Some people spend like 10 years trying to forget, trying to forgive. And it's difficult for some people, I know, but maybe this is the answer for you, maybe it's not. Maybe you just need a freaking ceremony, you know, to write everything down. I'm going to tell you a very funny story. So, well, it's funny for me, hopefully it's for you. So when my ex-boyfriend broke up with me, I spent some months like being very sad, and you know, it was horrible and everything. And then I was like, let me go to Marrakesh and just do a little trip for my, you know, just for myself and just to think about life, right? So I did this ceremony that I usually do when I want to let go of things, which is I just start writing. I want to let go of this. I want to let go of that. I thought about the situation and everything. And then usually what happens is that I will either burn the paper or toss it in the trash. Yeah. That's the ceremony.
I love it.
So I didn't have how to burn the paper. So I ripped the paper.
Oh, I love it.
And then I just put it in the toilet and I flush it. And after that, I was laughing so hard, like, you know, thinking about how, I don't want to curse, how poop he was, and how I flushed the toilet. And it was just like, for me, this was like so liberating, you know, like, just don't be afraid to be yourself and to find what works for you. If you need to do a silly ceremony, just rip the paper and put it in the toilet.
But
just
Erika,
do whatever floats your boat.
Because I personally feel like that is fantastic, because everything that we do will make us feel a certain way. And that act of you writing it, tearing it to pieces, flushing it in the toilet probably made you feel amazing, and that is what you
Yes.
needed to feel,
Yeah.
to be able to
Uh-huh.
let go, right? Or else you probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have been able to.
I felt amazing. I felt amazing. I was just laughing so hard at the end of the process. I was just laughing at myself, just hysterically, finding it funny. But the thing about the process that I've done is that with my words, I'm a writer. I write a lot. So I need to write things down.
Yes.
That's why I journal. That's why I do the things I do. So while I was writing, I was letting every word on that paper. And I was also making a commitment to myself to move on with my life.
Yes.
I acknowledge everything, what I'm talking to you about here. That's what I've done. I acknowledge everything that I've done wrong. And I could see clearly why the relationship ended. And I was freaking grateful, but it still hurts,
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I was doing the process, I was letting go word by word. And then there was a liberation, I started laughing. And when I came back to Tenerife, I was like, okay, we're good now.
I can move on.
And yeah, I can move on. So that was actually very good. And it was liberating. And there are so many things. I went to an ashram in India where they have this ceremony. You get the flowers and you put the flowers in the river Ganga and you let the flower go. It's so beautiful. It was a totally different experience. I cried a lot and everything. But sometimes we need to have something physical to symbolize what is it that we are letting go of.
Yeah.
It can be a letter, can be a flower. Sometimes you need this thing just to see it out of yourself and then to let it go physically. Sometimes that's what you need to do.
Yeah. Some people obviously use different methods, like they need to box, for example, or some people need to go out and get really drunk. That's fine, everyone has a different method that works for them. I personally am a massive writer, even in today's day and age where everything is very technical with technology. I always have my pen with me because that's me. That's what makes me feel good. So I am the kind of person that has to write. And at the end of the day, I know those pages will go in the bin. They'll get ripped. They won't go down the toilet like you. But just to put them on paper and to acknowledge those are my feelings right now. That's how I feel. To actually be able to put everything into retrospective, be able to look back at it, depending on what the situation is. Because I think part of journaling for me sometimes means that I won't look back at what I've written. Sometimes I will because I need it for me. But I'm very much a writer as well, and it makes me feel so good to be able to put pen to paper and to do that, and then I move on. And until I do that, I can't move on. So I completely agree with you. So that is fantastic. Okay, really good examples. I love the one about the river as well, about the flowers. Something
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I think it's something we could all try. We don't have to go to India to do it. Why not?
No, absolutely not. Like now I live in Tenerife, obviously, and I've kind of do my version of my meditations and everything here. Like you can do it. You just go to a place that is secret to you, that has good vibrations. Just go and let it out, and just go to the mountains and scream. There are so many things that you can do. It looks silly, but it really works. Meditation. Meditation is awesome. I forgave through meditation, like a lot of things that were hardcore stuff. I forgave those things through meditation because that takes work. Very deep. That's what I needed. And so this is another method of letting go.
We've got yoga. We can schedule a meditation as well.
Why not? We can finish yoga with a meditation.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be nice.
But I feel like it's funny. Obviously, we spoke about meditation earlier on. I really feel like meditation is, I will use the word fashion because I feel like it's something that's in fashion right now. But I feel like it's just because it was like an unknown secret that so many Buddhas and monks, for example, used for such a long time. And
Yeah.
due to technology now, it's just shared worldwide, and it is amazing.
It is
Absolutely
amazing.
amazing. Yeah. I tend to use meditation quite a lot just before bed, just to
Mm-hmm.
sleep, because like you, I am an overthinker, so my mind tends to wander off into areas that I haven't asked it to whilst I'm sleeping. So
Aren't you creative? Ah,
yeah. So to try and prevent that,
I
to
know.
still the mind, control the thoughts before I
Mm.
go to sleep, it's something that I tend to use. And also I do a minute of meditation with my kids, one who's 1, the other one who's 5,
Oh,
thanks to Yola. This is actually something that Yola suggested. I think it was like 2.5 years ago. So it's something that has maintained. So it is
oh.
amazing. It's fantastic and can be used for so many different reasons. But yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I like that you meditate with your kids. That's very
I don't
nice.
meditate
They're
with them.
lucky.
I put the alarm on for them. They meditate. I have my own meditation time.
Oh, wow, even better. Oh my God, they meditate and they're independent. Like, okay. That's good. Good loving. I like it.
Thanks,
I
Erika.
like it.
All right, perfect. So number 4, let's go.
Okay, so we accepted. We took responsibility.
We let
We
go.
let go. Now let's create a vision. So, when I say let's create a vision, I mean you have to transform your entire life. Okay, let's create a vision for that. You had a serious heated discussion, you felt very nervous. What is it that you want to happen next time? Let's create a vision for that. Because it is important to think like, if I'm ever in this situation again, what am I going to do? How I want this situation to be different. And if it's something that's already done, set and done, let's create a vision for how I want it to be different. What is it that I want to do from now on? With COVID, so many people they lost their jobs, and they're like, what do I do? Listen, create a vision. What do you really want to do? I know that not having money is not cool. It's not cool at all. But this is your opportunity maybe to do something different.
Yeah.
There are so many opportunities, for example, online and online mainly. Like, this is a world and people are so open to do things online because of COVID right now.
Yeah.
So I would say just create a vision for yourself of how do you want to live from now on? What type of person do you want to be if you are faced with this situation again? Or what is it that you want to do? Just create a vision, envision. You already looked at what happened, you learned, and you took responsibility and everything. So now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And how do we move on? With a vision. Because if we move on without a vision, we're probably going to have this thing happen to us again until we learn,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that what life throws at us? It's always the same thing over and over, and then you learn and you're like, oh, look at me.
Ding.
This is not happening again. Guilty. Yeah, it happened to me as well. And it still happens when I'm like, wait a minute, this happened to me 3 times already. What the hell am I doing wrong?
It's crazy. It is absolutely
It
crazy.
is.
Yeah. And
It is.
visualization comes in so many different forms. Creating a vision, it can be writing a list on paper, it can be
Mm-hmm.
creating a vision board, it can simply
Yeah.
be just visualizing your success, meditating and visualizing how you're going to respond next time it happens, or where you want to be in a year's time, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I use vision boards a lot. It is something that I also coach on. However, I also love visualization. It is something that
Mm.
I didn't realize I was so into. It's something I realized I just automatically do. So I've used
Mm-hmm.
the time that I use for meditation as well to do a lot of my visualization. But I always visualize my success and where I'm going to be. So I think completely aligned to what you've said with regards to creating a vision, no matter what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people actually struggle with this, but a great tip for creating a vision is write what you don't want. If you write
Mm.
what you don't want, you'll know what you want, right? And that's a very easy way to start. How would you go
Yeah.
about, creating that vision, Erika? What would you do?
I would, what you said about meditation, and also after your meditation, thinking about and visualize, it's a perfect method, because once you meditate, you calm down your brain, and you calm down your mind, and it's way easier for you to actually connect to your true self and do what is it that you want to do. Because if you are all stressed out and you're trying to think about what is it that you want to do with your life and your dreams, come on, under stress, are you going to think about your dreams?
No.
I think you really have to calm down. Of course, if you're not into meditation, there are certain things that you can do. You can just simply sit down in silence, have a cup of tea, calm yourself down, play some relaxing music, be creative. I think you have to see what works for you. Is it visualization? Is it too hard for you to visualize? Is it for you to write affirmations? Are you a very creative person and you like vision boards? I used to do vision boards, and now a couple of years ago, I have no notion of the time. Please don't trust me on time here, because zero notion of time. But a couple of years ago, I think, more than that, a lot of years ago, I've read the book. What's the name of the book? No, I don't know the name of the book. I will remember. I read this book, and there was a process in the book called whatever contained in this box is. So basically, you get everything that you want from your life, pictures, and you put inside the box.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and you just keep putting things inside the box. I do it in a modern way. Oh, Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. That's the name of the book. And it has a lot of process. It's an amazing personal growth book. I have to tell you that it's very spiritual, but it has a lot of great tips. So I do it in a different way. I have a folder on my phone because it's easier to get the pictures, and I just put the pictures inside. When I want something new, I crop the picture, and I put it inside my folder. And in this folder, I have everything that I want to keep or that I want to have. I have it there. Yeah.
I bet
so if
you may not open that box, that folder, every single minute of every day, but in your mind, you have a visual memory of the picture.
Yeah, but I also have like this whiteboard where I write down keywords, and I have keywords everywhere around the house. You will open a cabinet and it will be like, oh, this is Erika in India. You know what I mean? I do have these things, because our brain, if you keep showing these things to your brain is going to be like, maybe I have to go after that. That's how it works. But if it's difficult for you to know what you want from life, let's say that there's no way you can do a vision board because you have no idea. I'll say just try new things.
Yeah, trying good.
Because maybe you haven't tried everything in life. Maybe there's something different out there for you, and maybe your vision must be, let me find my purpose in life. Let me find what is it that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Some young people, they struggle with that. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I want to do. And there's so much pressure to go to the university, to marry, to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And they're just so stuck that they have no idea. And to young people, we're all young, but 20s, 30s, just go explore. It's not that big of a deal, right? Just sort out the main things so you'll be all right in life.
Yeah.
And just go explore. If nobody has to have everything figured out. Like, nobody has, we can only pray and hope that everything's going to be okay, and do our part, right?
No, but you're right. And everything that I relate in this scenario when I think of the younger generation is fear. Everyone has a fear of failing, scared to make mistakes. But if you don't make mistakes, you won't evolve. I like to say it's not failing, it's failing forwards. It's learning. And I feel like the younger generation is just so used to seeing what people create as perfect online. that they don't realize all of the effort and hard work that is actually behind that person's to get to where they are. So it's a big point that you've mentioned there, and I completely agree with you. People have to, even when you have a vision board or you visualize it, it's not to say that you're not trying a million other things to get to that vision. So you're absolutely but
yeah.
So
and just be open, because life can give you a lot of surprises. And I always say that if you are in crisis, you are lucky, because now you have an opportunity to do everything different, right? Because that's what happens in the crisis. You have no job. I remember having no job, no house, no, be like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? And it was a great opportunity to work on myself, to see what is it that I want to do for a living? Like, what do I want to work for other people? What is it that I want to do? So yeah, I mean, life is good.
Good. Amen. No security, no comfort. You have to go and chase your dreams, which is awesome. But yeah,
exactly. And yeah, that's it. I think we said enough.
Let's move on to the final one, which is obviously
let's move on. So final one is just go after whatever is it that you decide. Just own up to your decisions and just go after it. Don't wait for the motivation. Like, the motivation is not going to come knocking on at your door. That's not how it goes. Just and just act on it. And there is a certain thing here. When people just set goals, sometimes they have like this big goal, and then we forget that to get to this big goal, we have like 100 micro steps in between. So so when you act on it, I'm not going to tell you just quit the job, just no, that's not what I'm telling. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just start taking steps to walk towards your vision and towards what you decide to do, right? And trust yourself that you are going to do it, and know that every step you take, you are going to boost your self-confidence, and it's going to become easier. And also just be prepared to be uncomfortable. Because when you try to change things, it's freaking uncomfortable. Even if it is a good thing, it is uncomfortable because you're not used to it. So when you act on it, just know that you're going to have a lot of noise in the background. The old you is going to be like, hello, what are you going to do? You're trying to change. And you're going to be, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, no, I let you go. Remind yourself, because sometimes you let go and then things comes to haunt you. It's not that they came back. They're going to come back if you open the door. You have to be like, just go the other day, and you will see how you're going to get into the groove of things. So that's it. That's how you overcome anything.
I was just going to add there to what you said as well. Just also give gratitude for, your past life and what your life has allowed you to achieve until today. And give gratitude for what is already yours that you don't even as well. And it's very much talking about, going after it, but be grateful for what is already coming and be grateful for your past as well. It's very much like our clothes. I have this ritual saying thank you to my clothes that I have.
Oh, maricondo.
Yeah.
You know maricondo? Okay. Yeah.
I think ever since I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Yeah. Saying thank you to your clothes before you give them away or whatever you do, because you're right. They have clothed you. They have kept you warm, comfortable. It's the same thing with everything else in life, saying thank you and saying that it is now time for you to move on to a different stage. So it is very, very much the same. But I love that. Just going after it, being fearless, understanding that you are not going to be fearless as you go for it, but have the attitude of fearless, like you said. You're going to be scared. It's going to be new. You're not used to it, but embrace it and get used to being uncomfortable, because that is where you want to be. That is where greatness happens. So if you're not uncomfortable, you're too comfortable.
Exactly. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not doing anything. Yes, you are so right. And I'm so glad that you mentioned this. Like movement has something. Movement is power also. It works. I had a customer. She was struggling to walk on the street confidently. She was feeling people would look at her. You know, she had some issues with that. And I was like, you know what? Like next time you go out, you're gonna walk like you're confident, like you don't care. And she wasn't confident, and I don't care. And I'll be like, do you know Beyonce? Just do that, you know. And and she didn't do it for a week, but then and I let it go. I was like, let me see where this is going. And then after a couple of weeks, she was like, I went for a run, and I was just, you know, feeling like myself, and she didn't feel intimidated, because she used to go out and feel intimidated and always like looking around and seeing, you know, what is going to happen next. But just the thing that she changed it, you know, she changed the posture, the posture, and so she felt better. And sometimes simple things, unfortunately, we cannot tell you everything in an hour. You can always reach out to us, but yeah, these things, they help you. I used to do also this thing where every time I had a negative thought coming in, I would do like this and move from the thought.
Literally physically.
Ooh. That works.
I have to give it.
Isn't it crazy? Like, try it. Just move and I would be like,
get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. If you're having like persistent thoughts, you know, or you can clap. I don't know. So many things that you can do to improve your life.
I'll let you know.
I
love that.
Let me know. Yes.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, brilliant. Well, Erika, thank you so much. I feel like we spoke about so much today, which has not just been how to overcome anything, but so many different areas. But it's been very insightful and valuable for me. I feel like I've learned a few new things here. I feel like I've shared some new stuff with you as well. Obviously, we're going to set up a yoga session, so look out for that, everyone. Make sure you join. And if you would like to reach out to Erika to schedule a session with her or learn a bit more about Erika, her Instagram tag is Emotional Freedom. Right, Erika?
Exactly. Yes, reach out to me over there. I have all the links there, and I also have this special workbook called 21 Days to Presence. So there is a gratitude journal. I know you like that. There is a gratitude journal, and there is a meditation that I recorded just for that. And it's free. You just have to click link in bio, and reach out to me if you want to.
Fantastic. So guys, that's it for us today. Thank you so much. Erika, it was a pleasure having you here with us. We look forward to having you on our next one with Yola. And I wish everyone an amazing day, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Bye, Erika.
Bye.